Ready. Play.
Well, hello there, and welcome to the Talking Tennis Power Ranking. And I usually do this before every Grand Slam, looking at who the favourites are for Wimbledon. But oh my word, this is hard this time round. Normally at a Slam, you have a few favourites at the top of the list, and then a few kind of in the next bit behind, and then you're picking out one or two players from the pack to add into the power ranking. This year, the field of champions, as we discussed on the most recent episode of WTA Weekly, is pretty wide. You have to go pretty far down the rankings before you run out of realistic title contenders. So what I'm going to do here is a bit different. I am going to focus on a top 10, but I'm also going to give you a lot of other realistic title contenders. So we're going to do a top 25. And there'll be a slide or something on the screen for you to kind of follow along with who we're going with. Not necessarily going to go super deep into why they're there, but hopefully agree that these are realistic title contenders for Wimbledon before we go into who I think maybe leads the favourites. But if any of these names win Wimbledon, I'm not going to be surprised. After all, look at who's won the last few years. Barbora Krejcikova, unexpected. Marketa Vondrousova, unexpected. And even Elena Rybakina in 2022 was unexpected to a certain extent. So let's see if we can try and find an unexpected winner in there, and we can say, well, hopefully it's one of these people and it's not a complete surprise. So who's on the list for 11 to 25? Well, Sung Jin-wen is finding her feet on grass. Emma Raducanu will probably be boosted by the British crowd. Barbora Krejcikova is the defending champion. Elina Svitolina, Amanda Anisimova, Ekaterina Alexandrova, Linda Noskova, Diana Schneider, Paula Badosa, Ons Jabeur, Ludmila Samsonova, Clara Towson, Yelena Ostapenko, the Queen's Club champion Tatiana Maria. And let's face it, based on previous Wimbledon results, if you look at, Czech players coming back from injury and then managing to win a slam, having previously made a Grand Slam final, Karolina Muchova is on paper the favourite to win Wimbledon right now. So what's the point of me doing the rest of this power ranking? I am somewhat joking, especially given she is playing with a one-handed backhand at the moment. But hey, wouldn't that be a story? And I don't think it would be that crazy to imagine that she would win it. Yeah, Karolina Muchova. Definitely watch out for her this Wimbledon. Okay, in all seriousness, let's talk about the actual top 10 in the power rankings. Number 10, Emma Navarro, who made the quarterfinals at Queen's and Bad Homburg. Seems to love grass. Quarterfinals at Wimbledon last year. Seems a solid bet to get some grass court wins and go pretty deep at Wimbledon. Number 9. Number 9 is Marketa Vondrousova, the Berlin champion, former Wimbledon champion, but she proved that wasn't a fluke by her Berlin title run, beating Sabalenka, beating Jabeur again, and then coming through against a spirited Wang Xinyu in the final. So, in my mind, Marketa Vondrousova definitely on the hunt for a second Wimbledon title, and that might ruffle a few feathers if she did. Number 8, Jessica Pegula. Berlin champion last year. I think she's underrated on grass. She's relatively consistent and has just got to the quarterfinals in Bad Homburg. Definitely a player to watch. As always, we didn't expect much from Roland Garros. She made the last 16, nearly made the quarterfinals. So Pegula is not a player you should easily rule out. Number 7, Jasmine Paolini, last year's finalist. Having a pretty consistent season so far. I think if there's a lot of chaos, she'll get some wins in and go pretty deep. And she's proven that she doesn't mind grass too much. Also a Bad Homburg quarter finalist. Number 6, Coco Gauff. Now, I know what you're thinking. She's the French Open champion. Surely you're ranking it too low. Others are probably shouting at me saying she's ranked too high. And my answer is she's the French Open champion. She's also not won a match on grass yet this year. She's 0 for 1. There's so little data for her. what she is doing by going to Wimbledon and practicing there could well work. Her base level on grass is higher than I think most people give her credit for. She's reached at least the third round, 4 out of 5 Wimbledons that she's played. And arguably, she's lost to people in very, very good form at the tournament. So if no one's in good form, then you can trust Coco Gauff to come through. Number 5, Mira Andreeva. Now, I wasn't going to put Mira at this hard list. To be honest, she very nearly didn't make the list. If she'd lost to Clara Towson at Bad Homburg, she definitely wouldn't have made it. But she fought back. And again, she showed a lot of top promise on grass 2 years ago when she got to the Wimbledon 4th round and nearly the quarterfinals as a 16-year-old. So I think there's still a lot to prove on grass. There's a lot of potential. And based on potential alone, Andreeva ranks at 5th. Number 4, Iga Swiatek. What are you doing ranking Iga 4th on grass, especially after the season she's had? Listen, if she's having a backwards year, why not her do well on grass? And whenever she's struggled on hard and clay, that would just be the ultimate upside down year. On a serious note, she got off to a decent start against Azarenka in Bad Homburg. She's made the quarterfinals. I do think that she came reasonably close to maybe winning Wimbledon in 2023. If the Svitolina match had gone a bit differently in the quarters, there was an opportunity there. And I think if something similar happens, an opportunity will arise again. She's not going to be burned out in the same way. In fact, she's got a point to prove. So Iga Swiatek, very much in the mix for the 2025 Wimbledon title. Number 3, Madison Keys, who made the semi-finals of Queens, hasn't played since, but I've been impressed by how she's locked in for the Grand Slam so far. She won Australia. She got to the quarterfinals pretty comfortably in Roland Garros, and I was impressed by her attitude during that process. She looked relatively locked in at Queens, just happened to be upset by Tatiana Marina, as pretty much everyone was. So, yeah, in my mind, Madison Keys is a very strong favourite to win Wimbledon. I'd say she is up there with the top 2 on this list as like one of the leading favourites. And she has unfinished business here after retiring a game away from winning the match. Well, yeah, getting injured a game away from winning the match against Jasmine Paolini in the 4th round. And we know how far Paolini got. What would a Keys-Krejcikova final have looked like had we got that last year? Her game suits grass. She's an Eastbourne champion. Watch out. Madison Keys is a threat. Number 1 and 2 probably hinged on the outcome of a certain Berlin quarterfinal. Spoilers, I think you can probably figure out who they are. Number 2, Elena Rybakina, who has been my number 1 choice for the Wimbledon Power Ranking the last 2 years, in 2023 and 2024. And there's a certain truth that Elena Rybakina is the player to beat on grass. She's the standard setter for the tournament. She won it in 22. She loses to an on-fire Jabeur in 23, who, had she carried that form into the final, probably would have won the title. She was beaten by the eventual champion at Wimbledon, last year. And in 2025, she loses to Tatiana Maria at Queens, who won the tournament and took everyone apart. And she narrowly loses to Sabalenka, the world number 1 in Berlin. Arguably, if she'd won that match, who knows whether she'd beaten Vondrousova or not. Vondrousova was playing pretty well. It's hard to call. But for me, Rybakina, if she doesn't win Wimbledon, she could end up deciding who wins it, or at least who makes the final. But the number 1 on the power ranking is the world number 1 on the official rankings, and that is Aryna Sabalenka. Sabalenka is the on-paper favourite every tournament she goes. She usually makes the final at least. I think she's only not made the final at 3 tournaments this year, Berlin being the most recent, but maybe she was quite happy with her performance and didn't want to burn herself up before Wimbledon too much. She's also got unfinished business at Wimbledon, narrowly losing 2 semi-finals in the last 4 years, and then not playing the other 2 for various reasons. Aryna Sabalenka has her eyes on the Wimbledon trophy. She wants it. She's coming for it. And if chaos breaks out, she's probably one of the most likely players to still keep her head and get through the draw. Who knows what will happen? But there you go. That is by top 10 power ranking. Aryna Sabalenka has to be the overall favorite, but the field is very, very wide this year. To recap my top 10, and you can see the 11 to 25 if you go back, but to recap my top 10, they are number 10, Emma Navarro. Number 9, Marketa Vondrousova. Number 8, Jessica Pegula. Number 7, Jasmine Paolini. Number 6, Coco Gauff. Number 5, Mira Andreeva. Number 4, Iga Swiatek. Number 3, Madison Keys. Number 2, Elena Rybakina. And number 1, Aryna Sabalenka. That is the power ranking. Let me know if you enjoy it. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Have I got too many in there? Is the top 25 overkill? Have I got the order of some of these wrong? You know, am I under-ranking or over-ranking Coco Gauff on grass? I've played it safe and gone down the middle. Playing it safe. And of course, the ultimate playing it safe is putting the world number 1 at the top. Lots of more Wimbledon coverage to come on the channel. We've got an ATP power ranking coming out. And of course, we've got a full Wimbledon draw extravaganza coming out this weekend with a live reaction when it comes out on Friday morning. And then full ATP and WTA weeklies to break down both singles draws in detail. So stay tuned for all that. Subscribe if you haven't already for more content like this. And I'll be seeing you over the next 2 weeks on the channel. In the meantime, take care and keep talking tennis.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.